What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Hope everybody's having a great thirsty Thursday. I can't believe it is already Thursday. Tomorrow's finally freaking Friday. The weekend is here, and I know in a few days I'm going to be on the road to Vermont, a state I have never been to. And I guess one of the goals I'll have before I die is to go through every state in the union. So I still got a ways to go. Interesting article today. I saw in Bleacher Report. I can't remember if it was Blogging the Boys or another one of the publications. And I didn't actually read the article, so I'm just there quoting it, and I haven't even read it. But it said the Dallas Cowboys are hanging around the rim. And that's kind of what I've been saying, you know, when I've been on Dan Salio's show with Philly 500 and stuff. The way ESPN and Fox Sports 1 and all the talking heads talk about the Cowboys, you know, the Cowboys, they haven't done anything in free agency. They're going to be terrible. You know, they don't care about signing Dak Prescott because they'd be getting all these players, this, that, and the other. And I keep reminding people that this is nothing new. We act like last year and the year before they went out and they signed all these free agents, and that's why they ended up being 12-5 the last couple of years. People, the Cowboys have a base good group of players. When you have Micah Parsons that pretty much in every category that he, you know, is in, he's a top 5 player. When you have CeeDee Lamb, who the first 4 games of the season, you were wondering, is CeeDee Lamb really a number one? And it's like, what's going on? Because he's got like 53 yards or less and ends up leading the league in receptions. I know you trash my quarterback, and it's funny, Dan Salio trashes Dak Prescott all the time. Yet, he has him as the 6th best quarterback in the NFL. You know where he's got Jalen Hurts? He might be hurting when he hears this, but he's got him actually at 16. Yeah. So, you got a quarterback. You've got young players that are up and coming, like Jake Ferguson. Now, the funny thing was, just think back, guys. Just think back for a second. The talking heads went crazy and said the Cowboys are stupid. They let go Dalton Schultz, man. How you going to let go that guy? He's the security blanket for Dak Prescott, man. 800-some yards, great tight end, right? You remember that, right? And the Cowboys looked and said, we're not paying this guy $13 million a year for him to stay. We're not. They franchise tagged him, and they let him walk. And everybody, to a man out there that was outside of the Cowboys organization, said, that's a mistake. And lo and behold, Jake Ferguson, who's on his rookie contract, played better than Dalton Schultz. How do we know that the Cowboys, who are there every day evaluating their players, their talent and stuff, don't know that Sam Williams will be better than Dorrance Armstrong at a lot less money, literally? So when I see them say the Cowboys are still hanging around the rim, the Cowboys are still a very talented team. And even when you go through and you look at all these teams that have gone through and they've done so much work in free agency and stuff, the thing you have to understand, if you are a cellar dweller, if you are a bottom biatch, okay, you can't build a whole team out of free agents. You can't. It is a recipe for disaster. This is why when you see the Jets, who have spent more money than anybody else in free agency, they ain't made the playoffs since what, 2016? When you look at the Commanders with the left hand up in a stadium that's fallen down, they historically have spent more money in free agency than anybody ever since free agency came about. And what has that done for them? And when we look back at the teams that did that last year, the Jets, of course, went all in, getting Aaron Rodgers and things. You can look back the year before, Denver trying to, getting Randy Gregory and Russell Wilson and everything else. Those things imploded. Now, we had all the talk heads talking about how great they're going to be, that the Jets, oh my God, the Jets, they're probably the 5th best team in the NFL. They're going to be destroying people with Aaron Rodgers, Right. Remember people last year talking about how good the Giants were going to be because Daniel Jones has now taken a step? Here's the reality. Winning games in the NFL, I don't care who you're playing, is hard. It's hard. You can lose to anybody on any given Sunday. Anybody. And so to look at the Cowboys and say they're going to be bad, they're going to be awful, I don't know that they're going to be a Super Bowl team. But to look and say they're going to be a bad team when they've got a quarterback who threw 36 TDs and only 9 interceptions, to know that they got a tight end that had over 800 yards last year in the second year, to know that they had the NFL wide receiver who was the yardage leader last year, to have an incredible weapon like Micah Parsons, and you look and say they're going to be a bad team, you don't really understand football too much. Just saying. So, yes, the Cowboys are hanging around the rim. The question will be is, and it's almost comical to me because with Zay Roberts, now he's visiting Kansas City, and if you're Zay Roberts, if you can get on there in Kansas City with Pat Mahomes, I ain't mad at you, bro. I ain't mad at you, especially after Rashid Rice is literally throwing his career down the toilet when he had everything in front of him. I don't understand that. You literally are racing and having a 6-car pileup, and then you're going to turn around and allegedly assault somebody? You just don't want to play football, do you? So I can understand that. People will go through and say, well, he's a bum, man. He's a journeyman. See, this is the problem the Cowboys actually have. It's not having those number one guys that carry you through. It's also those ones that are role players that you need to get you through. Because sometimes it's that guy who makes that one catch. He may not be the team's leader. And I'll give you a perfect example. In the last playoff win I believe we had, it was Allen Hurns who made a first down catch, who literally had his leg decapitated and held on. Yeah, like you get your neck cut off, his leg that snapped like Dak Prescott's, and held on to the football. That play helped enable us to win. But in the grand scheme of things, you looked at Allen Hurns' body of work for that year, it wasn't anything special. But that one play changed the season. Changed his life too. Well, he got better. He went back. He left the Cowboys and got another thing. So that's what you have to understand, that sometimes it's those other guys that might end up making a sack at the right time, who, you hardly even know their name, that make the difference between winning and losing, not just the big name players. We all get hung up on, we got to have this big name and that big name and that big name. And yes, you do need those big names, but you also need those guys that are there putting in the work to get you over the hump. And you also need coaches that know how to get the most out of the players and motivate them literally to run through a brick wall. All right, good people, as always, I appreciate you good people. And me and my lovely bride here, we're on the road, and we're trying to figure out, this is hard. This is really, really hard. We're working on the brick pavers for the house. And we're doing a whole brick campaign to help get the house put onto the National Registry. And so we're having the center line is actually going to be a timeline. Is that what Brayson said? Yeah. So we're going to have 8x8 bricks.
History walk.
Right, history walk. And in each decade, we're going to put like 1820, 1830, throughout, and put 3 significant events that happened during that decade. And as you start going through history, this is going to be hard to figure out what 3 things to narrow down a decade to. And of course, things that changed, technology-wise, like the light bulb and the train and the automobile, or landing on the moon and stuff like that. I guess cell phone. Should cell phone be on it?
Cell phone should definitely be on there.
Cell phone should be on there. Well, actually, if you're gonna put cell phone, you got to put the regular phone too, don't you? Telephone.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like so many different things that we're literally brainstorming here between the wars and everything else. But it's going to be really, really cool to be able to see this timeline of all these wonderful things, or not wonderful, that have happened during the lifetime of that house. And if you're interested in being part of that, I'll put the link for the bricks, because people are going to be able to get them customized. I know there's some Eagle fan out there that said, I'm going to get Fly Eagles Fly.
No, you're not.
You heard Boss Woman. She said, no, you're not. Okay. That wasn't me. But we've already got a couple people that have already started purchasing them, and the Waynesboro Historic Commission actually is paying for all the center line ones right now. So I can't wait to get these things figured out. We just have to figure out what to put on them. Anyway, you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys back in the man cave. Peace out.